Good morning, children. How are you all? I am your new science teacher. Today, I am going to explain you a new science lesson. So, before going into the lesson, I would like you to ask few questions. Okay. While you are going or coming to the school, you observe a lot of things around us. Is it clear? What are the things you observe, children? Plants, animals, buildings, vehicles, etc. When you are in the classroom, you observe some more things. Give some examples of things you observe in the classroom, children. Yes, blackboard, chair, teacher, students, and so on. Do all these things at the same time? If you notice carefully, some of the things that have life in them and some of the things they don't have life. Okay, now can you guess what is the name of our lesson, children? Yes, living things and non-living things. What's the name of our lesson, children? Living and non-living things. So now tell me, what are living things, children? The things which have life in them are called living things. And what are non-living things? The things which do not have life are called non-living things. Let me write the definitions on the board. So living things. Things that have life in them are called living things. For example, what are the examples, children? Plants, animals, human, etc. What are non-living things, children? Things that do not have life are called non-living things. What are the examples of non-living things? Heart, toys, buildings, and so on. Okay. And how can you say whether the thing has life or not? How can you say whether the thing has life or not? But that means living things, they have so many features that non-living things cannot have. What are the features? I will write one by one on the board. So these are the features which a living thing can perform but non-living thing cannot perform. So I will write those features one by one on the board. Living things can move. Living things breathe. Living things need food. living things grow. Living things can feel. Living things reproduce. So these are the different features a living being can show, whereas non-living beings cannot show or cannot perform. Let us see one by one. First one, living things can move. So all the living things can move on their own. Own in the sense they don't need any support to move from one place to another place. And all living things can move. Why children? Why all the living things can move? In search of food, water, shelter, and to protect from wild animals. Why they move from place to place? In search of food, water, shelter, and to protect themselves from wild animals. Okay. So why the living things can move? Because in search of food, water, shelter, and to protect themselves from wild animals. If you observe in olden days, early humans used to move from place to place. Why they were moving from place to place? In search of food and shelter. Okay, when you observe on the streets, animals like dogs and cats, they will move from one place to another place in search of food. And some birds and animals, if they find any wild animals, they attack them, immediately they will move from that place to, that is, they move from that shelter to, they will find other new shelter to protect them from those wild animals. So these are the different reasons why living things can move from one place to another place. Okay, and these living things like human beings and other animals use different body parts to move from one place to another place. Okay, for example, human beings and animals such as cow, dog, elephant, they can move or they can walk or run with their legs. And birds can fly in the air with the help of their wings. Birds fly with the help of their wings. And fish swim in the water with the help of fins. Fish swim in the water with the help of fins. I will show you children what are fins. So these are called fins. These are fins which help the fish to swim in the water. These fins helps us to move the fish forward and backward. So these fins help the fish to move forward as well as backward. And some animals such as snakes, they will crawl on the ground. Snakes, they crawl on the ground. What is crawling, children? Crawling is simply nothing but to move with their body, to move slowly with their body on the ground. Can you give some more examples of crawling animals, children? Yes, lizard and tortoise are some more examples of animals that crawl on the ground. Okay, crawling is what, children? To move slowly. To move slowly with their body. With their on the ground. Okay, so different animals use different body parts to move from one place to another place. Okay, children. Then what about plants? Plants also living things, but they do not move from one place to another place like animals and human beings. They are fixed to the, they are remain fixed to the roots, fixed strongly into the soil. They cannot move, but they show the movement of their body parts. They will show the movement of body parts, such as sunflower. Do you know what is sunflower plant, children? Sunflower faces its Sunflower turns its face towards the sun. Okay, sunflower. Sunflower turns its face towards the sunlight. So the turning of its face towards the sunlight is also a one type of movement shown by the plants. Okay, then next to the other plant, mimosa. Mimosa, the other name for mimosa is touch-me-not plant. Touch-me-not plant. If you touch the leaves of mimosa or touch-me-not plant, it immediately folds its leaves. So folding of leaves is also a type of movement shown by the mimosa plant. Okay, then the plants such as climbers and creepers. Already you learned what are climbers and creepers in your previous class, children, right? So what are climbers? What are climbers, children? They can climb up with the support of other plants. They can climb up with the help of other plants. What are the examples of climbers, children? Money plant, peas, etc. And creepers. What are creepers? They are very big plants. They are very big plants and they spread along the ground and they grow along the ground. And what are the examples of creepers, children? Pumpkin, watermelon, etc. So these climbers and creepers, climbers what they will do? They will climb with the support of other plants. This climbing and spreading along the ground, these are also a type of movement shown by the plants. Clear, children? Clear? Then what about non-living things? Can this table move from one place to another place? Can this table move from one place to another place? No, it cannot move from one place to another place. That means all living things cannot move from one place to another place. Clear, children? This is about the first feature of living things, that is, living things can move. Shall I repeat again? Yes. Living things can move on their own. That means they don't need any support to move from one place to other place. And why do living things move from one place to another place? In search of food, shelter, water, and to protect themselves from wild animals. Okay. And different organisms, that means different living things can move with the help of different body parts. For example, birds fly with the help of wings. Fish swim in the water with the help of fins. And snakes crawls by using their entire body. Okay, and climbers, creepers, sunflower plant, and these plants they will show only the movement of their body parts. They will not move completely from the place. Okay, let's come to the next feature. What is the next feature, children? Living things breathe. Living things breathe. So what's the next feature, children? Living things breathe. Can you live without air? No, we cannot live. All living things need air to breathe. And without air, all living things can die. Is it clear or not? So all plants and animals, they breathe in air. They breathe in air. So all living things, what they breathe in? They breathe in oxygen. They breathe in oxygen. In. And they breathe out carbon dioxide. They breathe out carbon dioxide. Whereas in case of plants, it is totally different. All living things, human beings, they take in oxygen and gives out carbon dioxide. Whereas in case of plants, it is entirely different. The plants will take carbon dioxide in. Take in carbon dioxide. And they releases oxygen. And it gives out oxygen. In case of plants. Whereas remaining all living things like human beings and animals, they take in oxygen and gives out carbon dioxide. And different animals breathe with the help of different body parts. Right? For example, most of the animals living on the land, they breathe through lungs. Most of the animals, they breathe through lungs. Most of the animals living on the land, they breathe through lungs. Whereas some animals, they live both on land and also in water. For example, frog. The best example is frog. And when the frog was in water, it can breathe through their skin. And when the frog is on land, it breathes through lungs. It breathes through lungs. Okay. So most of the animals living on the land, they breathe through lungs. Whereas the animals like frog, which lives both in water and in land. So when the frog is in water, it can breathe through skin. When it was on land, it breathed through lungs. So I already said that most of the animals living on the land, they breathe through lungs. So this is the picture of human lungs, children. So these are the lungs through which we can breathe. We breathe in air, that is oxygen, and we breathe out carbon dioxide through these lungs. And some of the animals like fish. Fish can breathe through their gills. Fish can breathe through their gills. I will show you what are gills. So, these are the gills through which the fish can breathe. I drew only one side of the gills, the other side also, the fish having the gills. Okay, through these gills, the fish breathe in air, and through these gills only, it releases out carbon dioxide. Okay, children? Okay, then what about insects? Give some examples of insects, children. Yes, cockroach, butterfly, mosquito, and how these insects will breathe through their air holes. They have air holes. Okay, they have small pores at the side of of their body, these small pores are called air holes. These small pores are called air holes. Through these air holes, the insects can breathe in air. Clear, children? Okay. Then come to plants. How the plants will breathe. See here. You will find a small pores on the lower surface of the leaf. They will have very small openings on the lower surface of the leaf. Those small pores are called stomata. Through this stomata, the plants can take in, what they take in? They take in carbon dioxide and releases oxygen. Clear, children? Okay. So this is about living things and breathe. So let's revise all the points once again. All the living things breathe in oxygen and gives out carbon dioxide. Whereas in case of plants, they take in carbon dioxide and releases oxygen. And the insects like mosquitoes, butterflies, houseflies, how they breathe? They breathe through their small holes which are present on the lower surface of their body, and through these holes they breathe in the air. And the plants will take the air through the small openings that are called stomata, and this stomata present only on the lower surface of the leaf. Clear? Okay. And fish can breathe through gills. How the fish breathe? Fish can breathe through gills. These are the gills through which the fish can breathe in air and releases carbon dioxide. And most of the animals living on the land, they breathe through lungs. So these are the lungs which we can breathe in oxygen, and through lungs only we use out carbon dioxide. Clear, children? Okay. Come to the next feature, that is all living things need food. All living things need